Everyone is in.
We're on 4.5. Oh, I yeah. You can do it on all right.
Can we double check that those on Zoom, if you can hear us, will you give us a thumbs up? Oh, I had a throat clear. Can you guys hear us on Zoom? I see a hand raised. Awesome. Hopefully that means you can hear us. Awesome. Thank you. We have a new system, so hopefully the audio is better than it's been in the past.
Okay. All right. For those of you online and in person, this is Janelle Lewis. I'm the vice chair of the board this evening, acting as the chair in light of Deanna Siebold leaving the board. So I'll be running this meeting, and this is a work session starting at 6 p.m. The official time will be 6:05 that we can be in this meeting. And we're going to start with our work session. We have Kate Zemke here as a guest who's hearing our newly elected board members. So I'll ask her to come up to start this meeting.
People on Zoom, yeah.
I got thumbs up from Phoenix. We can hear.
I got a we can hear from
Kelly.
You might want to make, if you're on Zoom, just make sure your speakers are turned up. That might be part of it.
Okay. So, all right. We're going to start the meeting with the swearing in of our newly elected board members. We have County Clerk Kate Zemke here to swear in 3 positions of this board this evening. Thank you, Kate.
Absolutely. I think what I'm going to do is, let's try doing this in unison. Okay, what I'm going to suggest you do is please stand. I will say I, and then if you would each state your name, and then you'll just simply repeat after me. That work? Okay. I
Rebecca Blyhouse.
do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon.
and the Constitution of the State of Oregon.
I will faithfully and honorably discharge
I will faithfully and honorably discharge
the duties of the Madras Aquatic Center District
the duties of the Magistrate District
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Very well done. I congratulate you. Yes, absolutely. Now I do have certificates that I need signed, and then I will exit. Mr. Taylor, for you.
You're welcome to sit there too if you want.
Thank you. I'm really glad to see the interest. That's really wonderful. Here, my paperwork here. And the one with the flag, this is your memento. Okay.
Okay.
And but I'd appreciate it.
Please stand.
Yes, I will, absolutely. I'll make sure you get a copy.
Thank you.
Yep. First?
You need
Yeah,
my phone?
yeah, no, you have that. And did I get yours first?
Yes.
Oh, you had it.
I have
here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks, Kate.
Yes. All right. And we can move to agenda item number 3. And this is a review of the draft of the fiscal year 2025-2026 board meeting schedule.
So board members, I sent out an email asking for you to send back what nights and times and dates and all those would work for you. And the consensus of everyone is essentially Mondays work best. And because of financials, wanting to push them out as far as we can into the month so we can reconcile them and have time to review them. We're proposing the 4th Monday of each month be the board meeting. So that's the schedule you have before you. This is a time you can discuss it if that doesn't work or if you want to do something different. And then it's on your business meeting for considering approval. Doing it on a Monday is easier for being able to say it's on the 4th Monday, because if we were doing it on Wednesdays, there's a bunch of holidays as we get into November, December, and then it kind of throws the schedule off. So, yeah.
Any discussion about that?
That's good.
Oh. All right. Next is a draft financial of the financial management policies. No. And there's a memo in the work session packet.
So there historically have been a number of different documents with information about the financial management policies of the district, and been working on putting this together for the 5 years I've been here, and finally have it all put into one financial management policy. You'll note throughout the document that there are comments and highlights. Our Secretary Treasurer McCloskey reviewed this and came and met with me, and we changed some things and answered some questions, clarified some things. The goal tonight is just to get it out in the public domain, give you guys a copy. If you have questions as you're looking at it, please let me know. And then we'll bring it back at your next work session to talk about it once you've had a chance to digest the 20 pages of financial policies. So unless anyone has any questions, this is really just about getting me the information so you can review it before next month.
All right. Does anyone have questions right off the top?
I haven't had any questions I've heard too, but I don't know if
Questions at this time?
We can take it home and deal with it.
Okay. All right, then we will move down to discussing sports assets and providing direction to staff on usage.
So we've had a number of requests from both individuals and organizations that are interested in trying to put together sports programming for the year. And they've been emailing or calling and asking if the district is willing to sell, lend, whatever it is, any of our sports equipment, basketballs, footballs, soccer balls, those sorts of things. Staff didn't feel comfortable making that decision, and so wanted the board to weigh in on, if that's something that you want to do. Do you want to sell them? We could surplus them. Do you want to let people borrow them and return them? Is there a deposit associated with that or some sort of agreement? Just an open discussion. I don't have anything proposed. I mean, as a staff, we want to be able to see kids playing sports, and if it helps with the equipment that we have, of course we want to lend it out. It's just a matter of it. I don't have an answer yet from our insurance if there's any liability for us if we lend out our equipment. I think if there's an agreement between us and an organization that has liability insurance, we're probably okay. But I'm still waiting to get some clarification from them on that. So I'd love some direction, and then whatever your direction is, consensus, I can move forward with that.
I'm 100% for lending.
Yes.
with an agreement that whoever we're lending it to, someone signs as a financial responsibility to replace lost or destroyed equipment. We would acknowledge that there's normal wear and tear, and we don't expect it in the exact condition that we lent it out. But if there's parts missing or torn and broken, we'd expect that to be replaced or compensated. But that would, somebody would have to sign as responsible for that financial burden if there was one.
Shouldn't it go to an organization instead of an individual?
Yeah.
Like a soccer organization or flag football organization instead of just one person who's trying to put this all together. I would rather see it go to an organization and of course lend it, but I don't think we can even sell it. Because it's assets to the pool.
How official of an organization does it need to be though? I mean, a group of parents can get together and say, we're putting together the soccer. And if it's all volunteer, there's no real organization.
I'd rather have a group or that kind of organization than just one person saying, hey.
So if they wanted to borrow it for a short amount of time, is that what you mean? Like,
Well, it should be a league, right?
well,
They
yeah,
should
but
have
like
a
if you did
football
have,
league. Yeah, like whatever their season is, what, a month and a half?
What's the
Yeah.
soonest that someone's asked to borrow anything?
I presume fall. We haven't had any summer requests. We did work with the high school and they used the bison nets for their kids camp this summer. But we haven't had any requests for anything sooner than what I presume is fall or winter. Yeah, definitely winter for basketball.
I also feel like just with the fluctuation of not knowing how things will change or whether or not by some miracle we're able to get grants or have funding to do some sort of recreation programming at some point through the coming year, I wouldn't feel comfortable selling it or giving it away for an extended period of time.
So I'm seeing nods,
yes,
lending, signing an agreement with lost or destroyed equipment, normal wear and tear is fine, broken has to be replaced or compensated, a responsible signer, prefer an organization that's doing some sort of league or something like that over an individual. And then I'll get some answers from insurance about if it has to be a 501c3, you know, an actual organization, or if it can be a group of folks.
There would be one thing I'd like to see added is that while it is in their care, it is stored properly. We don't need 5 bags of basketballs in the back of somebody's pickup during the middle of winter. So
Part of the agreement.
part of the agreement.
A check out, a tally count, check back in within X number of days after the season ends. Yeah, it's definitely doable.
Okay. All right, that's how we'll move forward.
Okay. Next up is discussing options for school year Madras Aquatic Center operation hours.
Let's use it there. So in your board packet, there's a bunch of data, and I would be the first to tell you that our data in ActiveNet prior to COVID is not great. Part of that is there was inconsistent staffing at the front desk, and sometimes folks would just sign their name on a document and then a staff member would check them in, 2-3 hours later. So we know that the data is not perfect, but we do look at it to give us some semblance of, when folks are using the facility. And so we keep sort of this running total of the hours and the times that folks use them. And all of that is in your packet. What's also in your packet is, originally I wasn't going to put together a proposal and I just wanted the board to kind of talk about what your thoughts were. And then I thought, well, that might be too much to think about. So we wanted to give you, as a staff, we sat down and looked at the data and talked through what we hear at the front desk and from patrons that call, and put together this proposal, recognizing that we have different stakeholders that want to use the pool at different times. And so, I went too far. All right, let me go back up here. So, hopefully you guys can see this. We looked at adults and seniors who generally want fitness, independent workout, lap swim, and the spa. Swim team practices and swim meets. We found out that our youth swim team is not planning to do a fall season. They're only planning a winter season for the upcoming year. So that helps us with trying to provide additional access during the off season. Families with toddlers generally want family time, quiet time in the zero depth entry pool. And then families with older kiddos who really want that open swim experience with the diving board and the rope swing and the slide. And then swimmers of all ages doing swim lessons and all the different kind of ways that we do swim lessons. What we have budgeted in the adopted budget is hours of lifeguards and supervisors to be open 5 days a week, 3 hours per day. So that's 15 hours a week. That has been budgeted within the revenues and expenditures that are available. What we're proposing in this proposal is a total of 21 hours per week, with the caveat that we're trying to be responsive to what we're hearing from folks and offer open swims on Saturdays and Sundays between September 28th and November 15th before swim season starts. So this schedule is not perfect. I mean, it's not going to make everybody happy. That's one of the challenges we have with the staffing level that we have. It has us open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 10:30 to 12:30 for fitness classes, spa, lap swim, family time. And then from 3 to 6 for spa, lap swim, independent workout, family time, fitness, and swim lessons. And then open swims on Saturdays and Sundays. And then when the swim team season starts, which is in mid-November, through the end of February, we shift from a Wednesday to Sunday schedule and we go to a Monday, Friday schedule because the school district and the youth swim team want to practice Monday through Friday. Now, what we've done in the past we've been open Tuesday through Saturday, which is another option for the board to consider. And then swim team practices are only Tuesday through Friday. And then we could add that Saturday open swim back in for those November to February. Another thing that we can look at doing, staffing dependent, is on no school days adding in that open swim from 1 to 3. So those, but that's not within the open hours that we're proposing here now. So kind of what this is a attempt to respond to the feedback that we've received from community members through surveys, through all the things that we've done to offer those open swims. And then if and when those open swims are full and we have the revenue, then we can continue to add more services. This proposed schedule would require a budget adjustment because, like I said, we only have 15 hours a week scheduled and this is 21. And then what we would want to do is just closely monitor the revenues and the expenditures and come back in January with a proposal for the spring season from February 22nd to when school gets out in June. If board members, this is just a conversation today. We're going to bring back a final schedule at your August meeting. Unless you all come to some consensus tonight, like this is the schedule we want to see, and then we can run forward with it. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, thoughts you have about the schedule. This is the staff team proposed schedule.
The staff we have now?
Yes.
Okay,
This
so
is
what we have right now.
Yeah. Our 6 staff.
When the swim teams have been practicing, is that just for an hour?
No. So the youth swim team usually practices from 3:30 to 5. So they do an hour and a half. And the high school's been known to do 2 hours, but they'll do an hour and a half if that's all they get. And they each use 3 lanes. So the lap pool is taken when teams are practicing.
But you propose during those times you would have fitness classes available.
Yes, over in the leisure area.
And are you proposing to have leaders lead those fitness classes, or is that just open for people to work out on their own?
We have a instructor that will be teaching those classes.
I know this might not be favorable, but I would almost rather see, rather than hiring a fitness instructor, that people work out on their own and use that fitness instructor more for lifeguards for swims, open swims and such.
As your operations director, I do not recommend that.
Well, it's something that we consider.
You have a fitness going on, you have to have a lifeguard with the fitness group, and isn't that the person that is doing the
No,
training?
No.
so one of our full-time staff is also certified to teach fitness classes, so it's just part of their duties.
So I've talked with Courtney before, I've gone to some pools where people do fitness, but they might put in a little CD and maybe one of the ladies leads the class, they're not paid. But then they all work out to aerobics or whatever, rather than having a paid person lead those fitness classes. I see that as just one area that we possibly could cut back and utilize that person's skill set as a lifeguard or lifeguarding them.
So like for this small leisure pool, whatever fitness would be, we would have an instructor
Mhm.
and a lifeguard
Mhm.
inside.
Mhm.
You know, and it can't be the same if they're certified, they can't be the
Can't be in
same.
the water teaching on your lifetime.
But wouldn't that lifeguard also be serving the other pool? Would there be one lifeguard for like,
So
for laps, you'll still have 3 laps? You'll have 3 lanes open still for swim or no?
no, so during swim team season, there's 3 lap lanes for the high school and 3 for the youth swim team.
Okay, I see,
And then we would have fitness going on over here.
I see.
And depending on the number of swimmers and the number of lifeguards we have available, if we have 1 lifeguard, then it's a 1:40 patron ratio. And we would just need to make sure that we didn't go over that.
Well, that's just one option I'd like staff to consider, is rather than having a paid instructors, that we do self-workout until we get our feet back on the ground.
Could I add,
That would leave it like more like splashdown, right?
No, because we'll have swim lessons going on at the same time.
so is there a patron who is, at almost every, or several of them that are almost every fitness classes?
Oh yeah, we have repeat
I
patrons
mean,
for sure.
and I think we could ask them if they think that would be doable. And then we'll step up.
Something to think
I
about.
see
Yeah,
quite a few
absolutely.
fitness
And inquire.
folks in the audience, so perhaps they will speak during the visitor section and share their thoughts about that.
Yeah, and you look online, I did spend some time looking for CDs, there's a lot of CDs out there, and they were fun to work out to. This was in a large pool environment, I'll bet there were 20 or more of us in the pool working out to these CDs, similar to what, they do here.
So if the MHS swim team is 2-hour practice, then the extra hour, could that be
Laps of yes,
a lap swim
Yes.
for like even like the last hour? Like
yes,
first hour for adults dropping in?
yeah. Depending on what their schedule is, we could be adding lap swim before or after. We just we don't want to over promise and under deliver, and because the swim teams get first crack at it, we didn't want to say that we were going to have any available open lap swim time until they told us what the schedule is.
So for the class that we're talking about, the aerobic class, or would there be provided CD then by the pool?
Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to buy them, they're inexpensive.
Yeah, and then a laptop or something that
Didn't even have that, it was just all
on
audio.
their phone.
Yeah, I guess you never know if you liked it until you tried it.
We got the big TV down there.
Yeah, there's a big TV, that's another thought, maybe we can, some of them are video as well, yeah.
That might be a little more compatible or easier to sell.
I guess my other question, so if MHS uses 3 lanes for the 2 hours of this 3 hours, MST uses an hour and 15 minutes of 3 lanes. Is there the potential to take out the 2 lane lines and have something over in the big pool for that other hour and 45 minutes of the 3 hours in the big pool?
Something like a fitness class
Maybe
or,
even fitness space over there, or like
oh yeah, we
we can
can,
swim on that half of the pool. I think people would even come use that part of the pool.
that's more difficult if it's just a 1-to-40 patron ratio.
Cause it's the after school hours.
But if we have enough staff, then I mean, yeah, we could do that. I get worried. Well, I just get worried about the lifeguard to patron ratio when we add open swim, because we know that independent workout,
1 to
lap
40,
swim,
right?
yeah.
1 to 40.
independent workout, lap swim, spa, it's lower
Minimal.
numbers, so it's easier to manage that patron ratio than open swim.
Would it also be something to consider for our independent workout, a 1 hour? And then drop our our evenings to 7?
Yeah, that's something to consider. I mean, when we looked at the data after 6 o'clock, activities drop off, even going back before COVID. But I mean, if the board wanted us to stay open to 7, we could do that. We would just need to shift that morning to 11:30.
And maybe we'll get some feedback from the community, but if we did it even 2 days a week, chose later hours, cutting the fitness, to 1 hour and mix it up a little bit.
So 2 days a week open until 7, and 2 days a week.
It's fun. I know the few times I used that pool for fitness, it was just an hour class.
Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour,
45
depending
minutes
on
to
what
an
it
hour,
is.
Yeah, for workout.
Well, and even like the family time in the small pool, like kids get cold and frequent.
So what I'm hearing is you guys saying that maybe some differentiation between evenings, maybe a couple later nights, and then a couple earlier potentially. Are there any, and maybe wanting to hear back from folks about what they think, are there any other thoughts? I mean, does the Wednesday to Sunday sound like a decent plan for before swim team season starts? Would you rather see us go Tuesday to Saturday when swim team is in session, or keep it Monday through Friday?
Hopefully that would allow the community with the open swims and on the weekend.
So maybe do that Tuesday to Saturday and have an open swim
I
on
would
Saturday.
think it'd
during
be
swim
good to
team
see how
season.
that actually, in my opinion, if it was really something that the community then got back into. Saturday usually for families is a good open time.
So when the swim team is actually using the pool in the afternoons, and you have this side open, you're not gonna open the slide, but this side of the pool's open.
Kind of. So we have swim lessons.
Oh, you have swim lessons to work around too.
Yep.
And do you do those every day, or could those be on those odd days? If we have 2 days that are gonna have swim lessons, and then those other 2 days are gonna have more of an open environment?
Because of our limited staffing, we're gonna need to offer them Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday, Friday. Because what we have done typically is have 5 or 6 sessions going at a time, and we're only gonna be able to do 2 sessions at a time
Of swim lessons.
of swim lessons.
So what's the minimum and the maximum that, if we don't have like 3 or 5, do we still have the class? What's the minimum?
3 is the minimum, 5 is the maximum for the group swim lessons.
Yeah.
And then we also have privates that happen at that time sometimes. Just depending on who's available to teach them and how full or empty the classes are that we have scheduled.
So by not utilizing the fitness instructor, they would be teaching swim lessons, correct?
No. So the person that does our fitness classes is our facilities person. So if they're not doing fitness, they're doing facility stuff, CPO, certified pool operator stuff.
Lifeguard.
They're only a backup.
Only that.
Yep.
We'll look into that. Yeah.
Do we have capacity to offer private swimming lessons right now?
Maybe. I mean, we're gonna see what requests we get and then see if it fits in with. Those are,
I would hope so.
And the private lessons, are those more than the group lessons?
yes. The cost recovery on those is 200%. So they're priced much higher.
Okay.
But you're
And what-
taking a full instructor for like 1 or 2 kids.
And how is it worth it to take the privates? I mean, I know it's 200%, but I mean, do we get 1 or 2, or do we get? You know,
We've-
how many privates?
A lot. So 2 years ago, I think it was $20,000 of revenue for privates. Last year, I think we were at 15,000 because we started chipping away at some demand that was there after COVID. I think we budgeted 10,000 for private lessons this year, assuming that demand has continued to go down. Seeing Wednesday to Sunday would be awesome, or open swims. Wednesday through Sunday would be nice. Those are the comments on Zoom.
Mhm.
And keep an eye on letting people in.
There was a question about when you submit a request for a private lesson.
Oh, we have them on the website. It's a fillable form on the website, or we have printable forms here. So hearing Wednesday to Sunday.
We're not offering them right now during the summer.
No, not during the summer when we reopen in September, And then Tuesday to Saturday during swim team season is what I'm. There may be some differentiation on those evenings. Anything else on schedule?
Just a question. So, I mean, if the private lessons pay so well, how come we're just not doing it for the summer because of the staff? I mean,
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? I mean, if they paid that well,
Yeah.
should we have at least private lessons?
When we had the conversation at a few board meetings ago, the board said just the partner organizations for the summer. So what I can do is take the feedback. Maybe during board highlights, you can reflect if you hear anything from anyone in the audience, or on Zoom. If you want to change any of those few things I just said, and we'll bring back the schedule at the next meeting.
All right, next is standing and timely updates. The first section is on sustainability plans. So then, the first item is a debrief on the meeting with Jefferson County City Manager, Jeanine, and myself.
So Janelle and I met with the city administrator, Mark Wunsch, and Jeff Rasmussen, and we just tossed around some ideas about possibly the city or the county, either one, thinking about taking over this district, putting it under the city administrator, yeah. Putting us under their umbrella, it would be a win-win for us, yeah. But I don't really have a strong feel for the county. The city's a definite no, not interested. The city he seemed to speak like he would go back and see if there was any TRT money that maybe they could funnel this way. And after the meeting, we kind of thought about, well, one thing they could do for us is gift us our city and water bill every month. It's $2,000. That's $24,000 a year. That would be a great gift from the city, we felt. So there's going to be a further conversation with the city and the county, both the counties mulling it around. And what was your take on it, Janelle? Called it an engagement. I love it when you said that. Think of it as an engagement, a trial period.
I suggested an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement temporarily to do a trial run of the permanent potential for the county to take over this organization, which is something that smaller communities do from the beginning. It was proposed in 2018 when we had our interim director here, Gary Barth. When we proposed it this time, I think the concern was the budget here and how much shortfall there would be on the county if they did take it over. So it was related to funding. There was also concern because everyone here would become a county employee and there's PERS and different benefits that they're paying the county employees that they would have to then pay anyone who worked here. So they had a lot of good points of things to think about. That were concerns on their end for taking on one more thing. So, you know, it mean that all their facilities crews would be responsible for this entire facility and anything going on with boilers and all the things we deal with, the filters, the chlorine systems, everything. And then it would mean that Jeff Rasmussen would be our executive director. I also recommended that if we did do an IGA with them, to trial it, that then this board would remain, if there was an IGA, we would remain as consultants for their group as they trialed operations of the facility. And then later it would have to go, if we were gonna change that ORS number over to be a county run organization, then it would have to go on the ballot to be a permanent switch. But I did not feel like they were interested in pursuing an IGA or doing a trial of that at this time. Mainly related to the cost of running this organization. They reviewed numbers, they reviewed our budgets and how much it costs to operate this facility, and really didn't think that that was something they could undertake with everything else they're responsible for right now. One of the selling points that I tried to propose was also that, you know, parks, it could be part of recreation and would fall under this. So they proposed to us multiple times having us take over scheduling at Cheaper Hills and various locations in the community. And we've declined because we have too many other things that we're going to keep track of here. And so it would help that be more unified, even with like a relationship with like Little League and everything, it would make sense. But
it went back to that local option levy versus a permanent rate, that we don't have a good permanent rate to sustain the district, and they felt that would be a hindrance to the county. But we can ask them again, you know, go back and say, well, come up with any ideas.
yeah. As the meeting was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I think just trying to think outside the box, outside of grant funding, which grant funding is variable and there's not a lot of it out there right now. Courtney continues to write, you know, 20 to 30 grants a year, and we get awarded some of them. Most of them are not to maintain a building. They're for specific things, sometimes for recreation things, not to replace equipment, or you know, to pay for staff other than for like specific recreation pieces of what we do here. So other thoughts were trying to pick other board members. Jean and I went and explored this option, but thinking about someone else volunteering to contact other organizations like YMCA or other national level organizations, just to send out feelers if there's other folks out there that may be interested in coming long term.
And using and paying for the facility, do you mean like YMCA would be just?
Yeah, like
to use
like
them.
other options to
Uh-huh.
get this up and running, like with better funding. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of community members that have expressed interest in privatizing this. So I think thinking outside the box and starting to go talking to you know, as people have mentioned, Mount Hood and Steeble and Canada, like adding this into that realm. I think it would change the whole dynamic compared to like YMCA, which would be more of a youth oriented and promoting sports in the community.
I did have a brief conversation with the director of the YMCA in Baker City. And they lease the facility that the city owns. And the city, not sure exactly how it works, but the city kicks in some money towards operations and then YMCA pays the lease on top of that. So they do it, seemed like very nice facility from the pictures, but not a lot. The most current information, I think, is 5 years old on their website.
Is it the indoor covered or is it the?
No, it was very similar to what we see here.
In Baker City?
But didn't they have more in there? Didn't they have like a weight room, basketball courts, or was it just a pool?
There's not enough information on their website. It's not, since it YMCA is not a public entity, they don't need to share. Like he wouldn't tell me. Wouldn't or couldn't tell me what they paid wages for their staff or anything like that. He did offer an opinion and,
But I mean, usually the YMCA's they're very large facilities and with the
they're
basketball
doing it
court.
from this, oh, no, there wasn't.
Well, that's where I think they're reaching out for
Yeah.
interest. It's not that we have more property. We've looked into like plans to add to this property if there were funding. So that's something that maybe if like someone was willing to reach out nationally to see if there's any interest. Maybe they would come in and add that at some point. Or work with the Green Foundation and get other land, not even just on this property, but to expand the recreation side, I think. That we can afford to do. So, any volunteers?
Are you fully debriefed now?
Yeah, that was yeah, that was all the debriefing and ideas. Okay, with that, we will segue into Courtney's update on grants and fundraising.
I will reach out.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm gonna put it,
On the YMCA side?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
See, we'll call some.
Now,
They're all local.
yeah,
It might be better to call somebody that's local. Some sport.
Yeah.
All that stuff, go from there.
So you have in your board packet the final report for this last fiscal year. There were a number of applications we put in February, March, and April that we just never heard back on, so I presume we were not awarded for those. We've identified a number of grants that we're working on right now and that are due, some of them by August, some of them have an open deadline in fall. We're really trying to focus our efforts on finding funding for the locker room project, which has to be completed in the next 2 to 3 years, based on the last evaluation we had of the facility. So there's quite a few grants out there for accessibility improvements and for facility improvements that bring a new aspect. So we're not framing it as a maintenance project, we're framing it as an accessibility improvement and community improvement project. And that project 3 years ago was estimated at 1.1 million. So the goal is to try and fund it as much as we can through grants. So like I said, in your packet is the final report on everything we got this last fiscal year, the ones that we're planning to apply for, and then the grants that either we were notified that we didn't get them or we never heard back from them. And that's the report on that.
all right.
Want me to keep rolling?
Yeah, I don't know, capital improvements, which is The bathroom and locker room.
Yep, so in your packet, you have a 5-page summer work plan detail sheet. So we had given you, presented to you a work plan for the summer that was pretty high level, and this goes into a lot more detail about the different projects and tasks that the staff are working on. Love to take anyone that's interested on a tour of what's been completed so far, as it relates to the facility. The lifeguard room, first aid room, the office space, and we have a new break room and a work room now, that have all been painted and patched and floors scrubbed and everything very deep cleaned. We have a number of documentation, training, safety, those types of projects happening. And, you know, I apologize to the folks here, but all of our files are kind of everywhere because we're trying to organize them and get them into a some semblance of what needs to be kept permanently and what can be shredded and all those different things. So we're working through public records as well.
Courtney, back on all the work that the staff did back there.
Yeah.
Did Natalia have those before and after pictures?
We do have before and after pictures, yes. So we can certainly post them.
Post them out, yeah, that
Yeah.
black mold and getting rid of all of that.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. And then we are gonna post this and try and update it frequently to the website so that folks can see what we're working on with pictures. Trying to think, did anybody have any questions on any of the stuff that's listed specifically? Most of it is, we're just kind of working through the list. Trying to see. So you can see this item 4 is the one that's the full goal that's completed, which is deep cleaning and reorienting. You can see the front desk space too was deep cleaned and kind of reorganized. The big one that's coming up that we're going to be spending a lot of time on is our Hydro Apps implementation. And I'll just remind you, this is our asset management system, certification management, and it includes getting everything that we do on paper into a system so that we have access to the data. So it's chem checks, incident reports, asset maintenance, all of the checklists for opening and closing and safety checks and things that we do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. And the goal is at the end of all this being put into the system, we have reports that get printed out and tell us, you know, here's what your maintenance is on your boilers and your HVAC and, you know, these systems for this day or this week or this month. And so that's a huge piece of the new rules from the state of having access to your maintenance records for them to come in and inspect. And if they came in today, they would be sifting through boxes and binders. So, and handwritten notes on maintenance. So that's probably the single biggest project that's going to happen this summer. And then also transitioning all of the management and supervisory duties from the recreation director to the executive director. That's something that we haven't started yet. I will tell you, when I saw this list, I'm a little overwhelmed by it. Because these are all things that are not currently duties of the executive director. And so we're going to be talking through if there are things that I can delegate to other staff. You know, so much of what I do is in the back of the house documentation, all the things that you see in your board packet, that kind of stuff. So we'll work through that and probably bring some information to you in August about what that's going to look like.
And for those who don't know, the reason for this is because the recreation director got a job somewhere else.
Well, was laid off in the
position.
reduction in force. And yes, got a job somewhere else. Are there any questions on the summer project progress? If you have any, let me know. You want to see what's happening? We're here. Just say Becky got her orientation today, so she got to see all the things. Update on the domestic water heater replacement. We got 2 quotes. Frank has looked at them and Chris Tolman's looked at them. And there's some follow-up questions, so it's not on your agenda today to look at those quotes and approve one. They range from $44,000 to $61,000, I think was, one that had some additional work that they were recommending, to make the domestic water heater work more efficiently. And then Chris brought up today, an idea of not even doing a boiler, but doing a heat exchanger, and tying it into the existing system. So just, we have questions, that we need to touch back with both of those quoters. But the goal is, both quotes have a 2-week turnaround time, so we will be able to get it installed before we reopen at the end of September, even if we wait until the next board meeting. So, that's where we are with the domestic boiler replacement. I'll remind you, we had $40,000 budgeted for that. So if we end up going with the option that does a little bit of additional work, then we either have to make a budget adjustment so that we can also do the heat exchange flushing, or we won't do that this year. So we'll have to talk, it makes me a little nervous. So we'll have to talk that through and what that looks like, because flushing the heat exchangers was $15,000. So any questions about that?
I was just gonna comment that also part of the bathroom issue and remodel was gonna include the buttons that turn the water off automatically, because we also have an issue with the water
It's
getting
just
left
running.
on and being left running by kids frequently, so if and when we ever get the locker rooms redone in the showering area, that was gonna be part of that to help with water
Saving.
consumption, heated water, all those things.
And accessibility.
Should we consider going out for a bond for this locker room remodel?
I think that the board certainly has the option of looking at our capital improvement plan and thinking about a bond.
It's been lingering now for how many years? And to depend on grants to try to fund it completely anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's an option that you have for sure.
And just for my clarification, part of the issue is that when it was initially built, they used drywall, and that was a big issue
They had,
instead of cement.
yeah, it was supposed to be those, like cement blocks,
Mhm.
and they didn't use building material, but the design.
So there's a lot of black mold
Yes.
still.
And just deterioration of like the actual structure of the
Right.
wall
Yeah,
back behind the drywall was all
Right.
not sound.
Yeah, so we did when I came on as interim, they had done an RFP and gotten a company to come in and do an interim project to buy 5 to 7 years. So what they did is they replaced the drywall that was crumbling up to like 6 or 7 feet. And it's all the drywall along the offices in the auditorium, the hallway, and the locker rooms. So it's a pretty big footprint
Yeah.
for replacing the walls. Other questions on any of that? Right, the last thing on the standing and timely updates is the revised facility rules based on the new Oregon Health Authority rules that went into effect April 1st. The rules say that you don't have to replace your signage until you want to. You don't have to replace it right away. But our current rules are not consistent with the new state rules. So I've got a quote that's going to be about $4,000 to replace all of our rule signs. And I think we have to do it just because of all of the things in red that you see are things that are new, not currently on our rule signs. And all the stuff that you see in black are things that are either our own rules or rules from manufacturers of like the slide or the rope swing or those sorts of things. So we've got a sign at the front when you're entering into the locker rooms that will be replaced. We have an existing sign at the end of the hallway on your way into the natatorium that doesn't have to be replaced, but we're going to add a sign in Spanish because all the signs are going to be in English and in Spanish. The spa rules, you can see, are very different from what there's just a lot of new rules that have to be posted that even if we're following it right now, they're not posted. And then clarifying for the slide, consistent with the ORS. And then going the diving board and rope swing. Right now, we don't have a sign for the diving board, and we've got a rope swing sign that's disintegrating. And so we're gonna put a new sign up that has all the rules right behind those two attractions. So I just wanted you to see what the difference was between our existing rules and what the new rules require. And the goal is to have that done by September when we reopen all those signs installed. That's it for the filming update.
Okay. So I think we can adjourn the work session at 6:59. And we're gonna move right into our board of directors business meeting, which will convene at 6:59 p.m. And we're gonna start with roll call. I know. Okay. Vice Chair Lewis, present. Secretary Treasurer McCluskey. Present. Board Member Alejo.
Present.
Board Member Dominguez.
Present.
And Board Member Maynard.
Present.
All right, and stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to read our land acknowledgement statement. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will, some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. In Central Oregon, we are standing on the ancestral lands of the Wasco, Warm Springs, and Paiute people. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. And then I would like a motion to adopt the agenda after people have time to review that.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, the agenda will be adopted as written. And the next item of business is going to be board leadership for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. As I stated earlier, our board chair was Deanna Siebold, and so we need to vote on all the positions like we do every July, but we cannot renominate her since she left. I would love to nominate Irby.
That's so bad.
I don't know. Flying right now. So.
There's two in favor right here. First in the second. You don't want to think about it for 1 minute?
I am thinking about it, but. Let me think about it. And does that have to be right?
We do vote on all these positions.
Yeah.
Last year, Frank knows that I got nominated as vice chair when I wasn't even at the meeting.
Not showing up.
I
I
thought,
was late, like
thought-
5 minutes
I thought that was a horrible thing.
late.
That's why Frank never missed a meeting.
If you run to the bathroom, we'll vote. Well, I think you would be a really good candidate. The community really wanted you. And you really spoke to the community about being on this board, and then we reached out and we really wanted you to be here. So I think you'd be a good candidate to lead this board right now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, but not during baseball season. Baseball season's a priority for me.
Yeah.
So just have to work with me during baseball.
All
That's all
right.
I ask.
We did this.
Yes, you did. And I
Recreation.
really appreciate that.
You know I was
Yeah.
out there with you, haven't
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. So,
Well, I'd nominate Frank for vice chair to back you up during baseball season.
Politely declined.
No discussion.
None at all.
Jean, I can nominate you as vice chair.
But again, going back to what I'd said earlier, we plan to be zooming in for several months this winter. I could zoom in as the vice chair. He'll take over the secretary treasurer.
Yeah.
Done deal. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Was there a second?
There wasn't a second, so it died on the floor.
I second. I will second. I will second that she'd be the vice chair.
And then I'm gonna nominate Janelle as secretary treasurer, and her and I talked about sharing these duties when we're not in town and she is in town and vice versa. We thought we could tag team on it.
It's the only position I haven't had,
Yeah.
shockingly. 10 years. Well, I've always been on the signature though. That part won't change. I review everything anyway.
Well, actually, I need that white folder that makes it things to cover that.
so do we need to second
Second.
that?
No, it died on the floor, so that's.
So I second that.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Anyone opposed to any of these positions? So board chair would be Irby. Vice chair would be Jean, and then secretary treasurer myself. All right.
No opposed.
All right, there we go.
Did we vote on that?
Well, no one was
Yeah.
opposed to any.
You said, is anybody opposed? And nobody said anything,
Okay.
so.
No one contested, got shot in.
Thank you for letting me know for the.
Well, I do appreciate that. Remember, I just started tonight,
Yeah.
so I appreciate a little grace.
Okay. Our next section might be our Wednesday's section of the evening, correspondence.
Yes, and board members, there's two pieces of correspondence that came in on Saturday that I've included in your packet, your printed out packet. One is on clean air and one is on recommendations from Jessica Stinson. So both of those are in your packets. And then there's 87 pages of correspondence that was included in the board packet. I'll just briefly run through just generally the topics. So your first one was a letter from a Lyle Gap Livestock Club about the fair and coming to check out the livestock show barn on Saturday. Then you've got some information from SDAO, and I wanted to highlight this one for you. SDAO is a Special Districts Association of Oregon, and they are the association that supports board members of special districts. And they have a training coming up in Redmond on August 26th at Eagle Crest for new board members to attend. And I wanted to encourage, I think you guys, both Janelle and Jean, I think you've been to SCAO trainings.
I've been to at least 3.
So I thought Irby, Frank, and Becky, it might be an opportunity to learn some things about being an elected board member for a special district. So if you want more information on that, let me know and I can get you signed up.
Do they charge us a fee to attend?
$85. Yep.
Which day was that again?
August
26th.
I've been to the one at Eagle Crest,
The one-
I've been to 2 at Senator.
Yeah, they do this regional trainings and then they have their annual conference in February. It's either on the coast or in Sun River. Notice from the bank that fees are going up, but the good news is none of the fees for us are going up. So I just wanted to share some positive news. We've got an email from community member in response to our MACRD next steps. Thanking the board for their work. Another submission question from online about this pool being closed in the summer, and then another one about the temporary closure. We've got a notification from the county on annual enterprise zone report that there's a couple properties that will be taxable in this upcoming year.
The two solar farms.
Couple of solar farms, so that'll be added to the tax rolls this year. We've got some emails from the Kovaris related to the state Oregon Resilience and Emergency Management clean air grants, some questions about that. And I believe I saw Susan on Zoom and they had requested to speak during the public visitor section. So there's some emails that they had requested and some attachments to be part of the board packet.
Where are you gonna go with those? Like, just wait for their,
I mean, I can talk about the clean air grant.
just like a brief summary.
Yeah, so let me find, okay, before I go there. So the district received a grant from the state Department of Oregon Resilience and Emergency Management to add scrubbers and cooling coils to our HVAC units that serve the office areas, the lobby, and this room. And we did that work in 2023 and signed a grant agreement at that time that we would be a clean air facility if there was a smoke event, if the AQI got high enough. And so at the time we worked with the county public health department, and the board adopted a policy that when AQI hits 200, according to a specific website that's cited in the policy, and we have regular business hours, that we would open up as a clean air facility. There was some concern that because we are not open right now as a clean air facility, that we were not in compliance with our grant agreement. I did have an opportunity to speak with Ed Fick, who's the director of that department, and also with the public health director and with Haley, who works in that Oregon Resilience and Emergency Management department. And we are listed as a clean air facility. There was a typo. They had put 220 AQI. It's 200 AQI. And I did give the board a copy of that policy that was adopted by the board in 2023. That's the authority based on the conversation we had with public health at the time. According to Ed Fick, there's no longer any compliance requirements. The grant agreement ended. We don't have to open as a clean air facility. We feel like it's important that we do that when the policy conditions are met. So anybody have any questions about that?
Was he able to provide that in writing? Did he answer us back?
He did not answer me back. So I did request for him to put that in writing. It was just a phone call I had with him, but he hasn't responded.
So when you get that forwarded, maybe all to the board members, and then we could even post it.
Yeah, I can do that. Then the board received a formal request for legal and ethical review regarding the executive director conduct and MACRD governance. The original formal request was received by certified mail on July 2nd. And then we received an updated copy on, I believe, the 17th. Yes, via email with additional signatures that were added. So both copies of those letters are in your packet as correspondence. As well as, hold on, a formal grievance for multiple public meeting law violations that was received via email on July 12th. You want to talk about those?
Yeah,
Over here.
I received a handle, the copy from our lady on behalf of Deanna. She didn't feel comfortable accepting the letter since she was leaving the board prior to this meeting. So the board has received letters of concern from community members as indicated on the signatures in the formal board packet. And we have retained and frankly are working to retain legal counsel. It has been extremely difficult to do so to appropriately address the issues contained in the communications. So there will be more to come, but we have to work with our legal counsel, which will require that the board meet in executive session with our legal counsel at a future date. Unfortunately, our contract with our prior attorney's office expired, and we thought we were going to be able to hire legal counsel more quickly on July 1st. That's going to be delayed till at least October. So we're going to have to find an interim option through SDAO. And there I contacted our attorney at special districts. And they're working to help us get in touch with different legal counsel. So we will probably have an interim meeting between now and August potentially.
And there's an engagement letter in your board packet that was sent over based on the recommendation from SDAO. So you do have an option on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got a request from EDCO about a notification of proposed enterprise zone expansion. You guys have seen this before. This is an expansion of property that's up near the airport. That was just, I think, rezoned or whatever the technical term is for the city making those changes. And so the request is for the board to provide testimony in support or in opposition of the expansion of the enterprise zone. And as a reminder, an enterprise zone basically is a tool that is used to provide an exemption from paying property taxes for a certain amount of time for businesses that meet certain criteria of job creation and property valuation increase. And so when I asked what the financial impact would be to the district, you know, is it going to keep us from getting any funds that we currently get? Right now, the property doesn't pay any property taxes. If it's part of the enterprise zone and ends up developing, it would be a net add to the property taxes that the district receives. So in the past, you have approved a letter of support when there was no negative financial impact. And a positive potential growth impact to a rezoning of that enterprise zone or an expansion of that enterprise zone. So I did draft a letter if the board is interested in taking action on it, and if not, it's fine. So either way, I wanted you to have the option.
Two and a half hour city council meeting that we went to.
Yeah,
I'm in favor of supporting the expansion of the enterprise zone.
I would second. I would second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Maybe.
All right.
Do you want to-
So we had two opposed.
shouldn't say Irby opposed.
Yes.
Okay,
Three in favor.
So just take it to 3.
got it.
3 and 2.
Got it. Okay. That was it for correspondence.
All right. And then let me, okay. Next section is the public comment and visitor section. I have a few forms up here already. A reminder that members of the public are welcome to speak to the board of directors during this time. They should sign in at the beginning of the meeting and be recognized by the board chair. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. I will do a timer because we have so many folks here this evening. We still have more on our agenda for the rest of the meeting. I can do a few online too.
I know we had at least one online that requested to speak.
And there was the letter, well, I added it to my pile, but was it from Susan? Farley?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
one.
She, I have that printed. All right, so the first form I have here is for Penny Nelson. And you can either stand where you are, I think the speaker will pick you up, or if you wanna sit with a camera, you can be in this chair as well.
Feel free to stand up for a minute. Okay. I'm Kevin. First off, we want our leader when we do our aerobics. I'm sorry, music is fun. She includes that with us. We need a leader because we are kind of a scattered group. We have a good time. We need a leader. Okay, doke? There, that's my add to that. Okay, thanks to the board for letting me speak or vent, however it's proceeded. Sadly, I now know what small town politics means. I do not understand very personal attacks on a dedicated employee who is working hard for all of us and cares deeply about the MAC. Regarding salaries that are negotiated and approved by the board, why shouldn't they be adhered to as per contract? I don't care if you work at a grocery store, fast food, post office, or Brightwood. Instead of vilifying people, let's hear some useful suggestions. Madras does not have a lot of positives anymore, but the MAC is one. No one is happy regarding the pool this summer. I miss my classes, new friendships that I have made with both the MAC staff and my classmates. I don't believe I need to mention water, kids, and summer, as they should always be together. My understanding is it's money or lack of it for years that has ultimately caused this crisis. Short of winning the water and making a huge donation, which I wish was possible, I cannot comprehend how recalling the board and making a huge change or change of the director will help. Truly, we all hope this infighting will cease and cooperation and move forward will be the goal to end this turmoil, which will be remembered for a long time and has only accomplished more strife for whomever is tasked with fundraising for this facility and its programs in the future. That's how I feel. Like it or leave it.
Thank you, Penny.
You're welcome.
You were even under your 3 minutes. Okay. Next is Carrie Graham.
I am gonna come at this from a different point. Good evening. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Carrie Graham. I'm here as both a community member and someone who has been personally connected with the MAC since its inception. This pool is more than a facility to me. My oldest son worked as a lifeguard here most of his high school years. My youngest son was a dedicated swimmer, and I believe his name is still on the board out there. I spent a lot of time here through multiple executive directors. I've seen firsthand how vital this pool has been for families, youth, and seniors in our area. What's happening now, in my opinion, is not just a budget issue, it's a leadership issue. Let's be honest, there will never be enough money. That's the reality of running community programs. It takes creativity, commitment, and shared sacrifice, and an actual love and service for the work and service you provide. What we see now is a growing disconnect between leadership and the pool. The pool remains close to the broader community while the executive director continues to serve her own alliances, including allowing the school district where she serves on the board to maintain access while the rest of us are locked out. And while the community is locked out, the executive director has the audacity to ask for a raise or accept a reduced salary. You cannot claim hardship on one hand while asking for personal financial benefit on the other.
Amen.
This is a clear example of someone expecting a champagne wage on a beer budget, while the rest of the community goes without anything. To the board, you have dropped the ball. You were elected or appointed to represent the people of this district, not to sit quietly while the executive director makes decisions that serve her own interests. Instead of asking hard questions or providing oversight, you've allowed her to run circles around you and around this community. Your silence and inaction have enabled a pattern of exclusion, favoritism, and mismanagement. The pool remains closed, not just because of one person's decisions, because you have failed to do your job. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Next I have Debbie Stinson.
Shaking.
You did good. Thank you.
Sure.
And if you wanna sit in that chair, you can, but you do this.
And I printed out what I'm gonna read in case I don't read it very good.
Okay.
First, I wanted to thank you for serving on the board. I appreciate it. I wrote a letter to the board members May 24th, and I wanted to thank Jean and Gertie for getting back to me. It was really nice. I wanted to ask a question regarding the school district and the fees, how they're paid from the school district at the pool. We pay property taxes that support the schools, and the school district receives money from the state for operating. I feel that swim team and school swim lessons and all the school stuff is important, but I'm a little confused. I'm wondering if the school district is covering the fees entirely for these events at the pool. The reason I'm asking is that I believe we're paying double taxes. We pay property taxes to support the pool, which is a special district, but then we're also paying taxes to support the school. And then so how much of the money we pay in property taxes to the pool is getting used or donated to the school district for swim team lessons and other activities? I believe that if the school is covering all the expenses for these events, there should be enough money left to be able to open the pool to the general public. So where is the money, the 40 cents per thousand going? I'm just confused. Please find a way to open our publicly owned pool. We, the taxpayers, want to use our pool. And I thank you. We appreciate that you are actively looking for ways to get our public pool open. So I guess I'm just a little bit confused. If the school district's paying for the use of the pool, the girl math in me, me and my girls use girl math a lot. It seems to me that there would be more open available hours for the public to be able to use the pool if the school district is paying for their part of it. I don't know how that works, so that's my question to understand. So thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Okay. I think it says Phil Johnston.
Yes, I'm Phil Johnston. I'm gonna go a little different avenue here. So I printed out today the MAC district. So in my estimation, within a 7 radius mile of B Street and 4th Street is where approximately 90% of the revenue comes from for the MAC. Okay, yet the district covers part of the Cove Palisades that pays nothing. BLM lands to the east that pay nothing. So there's a definite revenue issue. There's expenditure issue with salaries. There's a revenue issue with monies coming in. On the revenue side, I know of 2 instances where people are private paying, well, should rephrase that. People were supposed to be private paying with automatic monthly billing to their checking accounts. One person paid 3 out of 6 months. The other person paid once out of 6 months. I called and talked to one of the staff here, trying to figure out whether or not there's a system in place to monitor the monies coming in every time somebody puts their card through the reader, checking in. Couldn't get an answer. So my wife and I belong to the pool through our insurance company, through the One Pass. So I talked to the gal at the desk about that. She couldn't tell me whether or not the pool actually receives money for that. I then contacted my insurance company, who, to my disappointment, unsurprisingly, still has not got back to me with an answer. They don't know who's paying for our membership. So I would like somebody to get back to me with how the funds are coming into the district. Because everybody in this room, as far as I know, pays to have this place operational. And it's not, we got water in the pool and nobody out in it. Since I still have a couple of minutes. The final thing is, the people of this community can only afford a certain level of service. I belonged to the fire district for 40 years as a member, volunteer or paid. Told them the same thing. The community can only afford a certain level of service.
Thank you, Phil. Next is Mike Price.
Want to address one issue right off. I did receive that my insurance company paid for me to be here in July and it's been closed. So I don't know if that's been I got a notice that you got charged. So, you know, I want that resolved. Yeah. Secondly, I mean, even June, but you know, half the month we couldn't use it too. And I know we got. The other part is that again, the cost of all this, I can't figure out the math that we're cutting out all revenue from swimmers and everything, but we're running the pool. I mean, to me, the summer would be where you would make the most revenues. And the other thing is that I don't understand why our hours aren't actually like Wednesday through Sunday. Or Thursday, if you only be open for 4 days. Thursday through Sunday, the most opportunity to have revenue coming in the door. It just blows my mind. You know, in the wintertime, the opportunity for revenue goes way down, cutting the hours and that type of stuff. I mean, I love to use the place, but at the same time, you know, I'm just fed up. You know, and I used to come to all the board meetings. I used to be a supporter of this. I went to a board meeting where all the work was supposedly last year to somehow keep this pool open and all that. And then somehow at the very end of the meeting, a raise was given. And it was no possible way to shake your head, Frank, all you want, I was here. Okay?
There was no raise given at the last meeting.
No, I'm talking last year.
Oh,
And it was done
I
very,
was-
I thought,
I
done
wasn't
very
there. I
underhanded.
apologize.
I was done very unhanded. It was after any public comment could be made. It was done. And I've not, this is my first time back. I'm done.
I think Karen Higby maybe?
Hello, that's me. I just want to say hello to everybody. I've never been here before. I bought a home here for my doctor, actually. Bought a home here 11 years ago, and I'm sad to see that. Is there any way you could look at me?
She doesn't pay no
He's
attention.
taking.
Just take a minute.
Yeah, I'm taking minutes, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to. I agree with the pool situation, but this is a time I found where I could come in front and have witnesses. Has nothing to do with the pool quite yet. But your husband refuses to come deal with the situation at my house.
I have a 23-foot fence 10 feet away from my house.
That's totally inappropriate. Bring in.
I can't get anybody to call, show up, and this has been going on for over a year. So in my opinion, I'm not trying to belittle, but I thought maybe you could talk to him.
No,
Um,
it's
no,
totally
no,
inappropriate.
I'm sorry, you all. I felt this was a proper place because,
Karen, you should go to a city council meeting.
okay, well, maybe that's what I need to
Yeah,
do,
that
but
was not that place.
I can see you're not gonna make a big difference. That's an attitude. And you won't even look at people.
She's taking.
And I love
each
your
meeting.
10-carat diamond ring and your fancy watch and
Please,
I'm sorry.
sit down.
right to speak here.
You have a right to speak
Not to
on.
be rude.
I'm not
Catherine,
being rude. I need help.
You're-
My cat died. We have cement barriers. My cat got stuck between the barriers. Her tail had to be amputated, which was $2,500 and some change.
Karen, this.
2 months later, she
is
died
MACRD
because she was stuck
which is-
in your husband's job where he was supposed to do something to help me. Help me.
Please leave.
Get your husband to come to my house and help me.
Please leave.
I have numerous text messages. You know I have anxieties. You were my doctor. I'm sorry, but what's it gonna take? You wanna see my legs? Look at this.
Karen,
You see my legs?
Ma'am.
Sam, we're
This
gonna
is
have to
from
call-
that.
You're calling, yeah.
Touch me and you'll be going to jail.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Well, we can-
Please leave.
You don't belong here. You're not gonna do shit, but.
Hey, guys, we need to call the meeting to order and we're gonna just move on to the next comment.
Karen, thank you,
She's
Karen.
calling law enforcement, it'd be best if you left.
Yeah.
Please sit down.
I believe,
Thank you.
but did you see what I had to say?
There's a public meeting and.
Thank you.
City council.
Karen, your purse is on the table.
You're worthless, money, order. Think about yourself instead of your community.
Yes, that's a lifestyle you made for yourself.
Okay.
And you, mister, you got a problem? You know how I live.
We're just gonna move to the next person.
So, fuck you, asshole.
Sorry. Okay, the next person on the list,
We need to start there.
we're gonna move on to the next person so we can keep the meeting moving. Chris Price is next.
So if you don't know me, I'm Chris Price. I used to be a member of management here, recreation supervisor. I ran all of recreation by myself. My number one question is for the board. When are you guys gonna realize that it's your guys' fault that it doesn't pass? I mean, every single one of you has belittled the community in one way or another on Facebook. Questioning their intelligence, saying on the news that we were spreading misinformation. Okay, when I worked here as a member of management, people above me said F the community, I'm the one with the degree. Okay, I was told to lie to the community by my superiors in more than one occasion. I was then addressed this with members of management, and then nothing got done. I then addressed it with the board members. Chanel can attest to that. I have a text message from her responding to it about the issues that were going on ethically here at the MAC. Okay. I got written up a week later. Okay. For a post that over 200 people liked, trying to support this, get this community behind the MAC while I worked. And the policy about that they wrote me up for, they had no problem doing it, letting me post every single thing, but it went against their narrative that they were pro. Okay, recreation is the only thing that will eventually sustain this pool. Okay, then giving it away is not a good thing. Okay, you want to keep your pool. Recreation is the only thing here that breaks even or makes money. And you have to stop listening to them. And I am asking for every single one of you, your resignation as a board member and a member of management, except for her. Every single one. We have a poll of 200 people that voted for you all to step down. 2 people voted no. 2. There's gotta be an integrity thing here if you guys don't step down. Are you that entitled that you are going to literally stay in your private little group, run it like a dictatorship, and not listen to the community? You need to read your own mission statement. Period. And if you belittle any more people on Facebook questioning their intelligence, I will be right there. Frank, you unblock me really quick. You'll see me hop right in there. That's all I have to say. I want your resignation.
And then the last one, thanks, Chris. The last one is from Susan Pavari.
Oh, Susan, you're muted. There you go.
Okay, hold on just a second here. All right, my name is Susan Kavari. I'm a Madras resident since 1984. I'm really sorry, Courtney, but you have been misguided by Mr. Flick of the Oregon Office of Resiliency and Emergency Management. He was assigned to manage grant approval and disbursement only. On November 21st, 2022, Courtney discussed Oregon's Safer Indoor Environmental Grant and the obligations to become a clean air shelter, and that the board supported it. In May of 2023, the MAC received $102,375 through the Oregon Department of Human Resources and the Office of Resiliency and Emergency Management under the Safer Indoor Air Initiative. I would like to see the MAC fulfill the conditions of the grant that's intended to ensure that the MAC provides safe indoor shelter to the public, not only for safety from wildfire smoke exposure, but for providing a place for our vulnerable population from extreme heat and cold. Yes, I said extreme heat and cold because the MAC is also considered a warming and cooling shelter during those extreme hot and cold temperatures, which I'm sure you all don't know about that. So let's have a talk. Under Oregon's Safe Indoor Environment Grant, as described by Max Seeler, who's the Finance Administrative Chief for OREM and the Oregon Department of Human Services. Here is the program description. The recipient shall use the awarded grant funds to improve and sustain the MAC in order to provide a safe, clean air, warming, and cooling space for the residents of Madras, Oregon when an emergency event occurs. Recipient must use the award grant funds to support the grant activities as listed below. Let me read those. Grant activities. Recipient, which is the MAC, shall modernize, improve, and sustain the MAC so it will be able to be used as a clean air, warming, and cooling space. Recipient shall also continue to pay for all MAC operational costs to include, but not limited to, staff, salaries, taxes, utilities, and supplies. Then recipient shall also ensure the MAC is available to residents of Madras, Oregon at no charge during poor air quality, extreme heat, or cold weather events. Recipient shall notify 211 of the MAC's hours of operation and location when a poor air quality, extreme heat, or cold event occurs. How about we refer to Exhibit B of the SIE grant? Okay, let's do that. Section 2, compliance of the law. Recipient, which is the MAC, shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws, regulations, executive orders, and ordinances applicable to the recipient and this agreement. This section shall survive expiration and termination of this agreement. Do you know what that means? I would like.
3 minutes.
You will answer that. We'll yield the back, and you can answer that at the end. Sections 14, 14A, and 14B of Senate Bill 762 were codified into law as Oregon Revised Statute ORS 431A. Excuse me?
Sorry, that was the end of the 3 minutes. For public comment, I'm sorry.
You said it could be, you said it could go, or it could go over a little bit. I'm going to ask the board to please let me extend my time.
We have like 10 more people to keep.
I'm going to ask the board to please extend my time. This is crucial, and this is information that affects the legal aspects of how you are operating currently. Please take a vote with me and your board members right now to see if I can finish reading my dialogue.
2 more minutes.
I think
Susan, you could sure send it to us in an email, thank you.
2 more minutes would be great. Let me continue. So
Well,
let
we
me,
have
the
a lot
law
of
has turned
we have-
4:31. Excuse me, you gave me 2 minutes. I'm gonna ask that you vote on it, please.
I think we need to keep
You're
moving.
denying
If we have
the
more
public,
time,
you are denying the public a very
come
important, ma'am, let me, excuse me, but you have to understand that this is now law. Okay? So my question, let me just ask 2 questions then. Does the MAC think that this $102,375 grant means that they don't have to be a clean air warming and cooling center? I mean,
So
where
we
in the grant does it state that you no longer have to be designated as that type of emergency shelter any longer?
I think we can respond via email once Courtney gets the information.
I think this is more than email. Excuse me. I think I'm asking for 2 minutes just to finish my dialogue, please. Please take a vote.
We're gonna move on to the next comment.
I'm asking to please take a vote among the board of directors.
We're able to know. She didn't vote.
Okay. So the next person on here to speak is Sam Robinson.
That's the wrong person. Yeah. But everybody gets 3 minutes, so.
It's 3 minutes, public organization. I read the whole statement and that is with direction from our policy. So you have 3 minutes. I already started the timer, Sam.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Sam, would you like me to come up and stand with you? Would you feel better if I came up and stood with you? I'm happy to.
There is so much emotions around here right now, but we feel the tense emotions around here. What are we doing? What's with all these tense emotions? What's with all the contention that is going on in this room? I know you're all upset, and I know some of you are angry. I support the Madras Aquatic Center Recreation District. I have been an employee here since 2020. The person who helped me find this job, who is no longer alive because of cancer, she guided me to work here at this Madras Aquatic Center. And I got to meet Courtney, and I've been coming to these board meetings for a long time. There's so much emotion. You guys, what is wrong with our community? What is wrong with you guys? I get it. You're angry. I get it. You're upset. I was too when the measures didn't pass. I was part of the political action committee supporting the Madras Aquatic Center, trying to get the 2 measures to pass. I was upset. I was angry. I'm angry at some of the people. I'm angry at some of the people who blasted Courtney. I'm angry at the people who voted no. Emotions. But I love the Madras Aquatic Center Recreation District. I love working here. And by you guys voting no, my hours are reduced. I love working here. You guys are gonna take that away. I am a special needs person. I'm on the autism spectrum disorder, and I'm grateful to be here at the Madras Aquatic Center.
Thank you.
No more bashing.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much.
Nice
Sam.
work.
We appreciate you coming.
Heartfelt, good word.
The next person I have is Michelle Boynton.
My name's Michelle Whiten. I'm a community member. I don't get to use the map because of my own medical condition. So for a long time, I didn't care, and it just came out of my property taxes and whatever, you know. He has a place to work. She has a place to go work out. Not a big deal. Take it out of my property taxes. I don't care. But you don't get to take money from us and then close the pool. And like this gentleman said earlier, what did you say? 200%, Courtney, can I have your attention for a second? 200% on private lessons? And you close the pool for the summer? How many? Nobody gets to use the pool for free. Every person that comes in is either paying annually, monthly, per session. Their insurance companies are paying for it. Nobody's just hanging out here for free. And so, like Chris said, the recreation district, like all of this money is not coming in because we're closed. But yet you're closed because you're not bringing it, like it doesn't make sense. And then I'm really sorry, but in my house, I have a budget, okay? And I work within my budget. And if something doesn't work out in my budget, I don't go, hey, give me more money. No, I fixed my budget. And if my expenditures are too much, I change them. If I have to cut cable and just get Netflix, I cut cable and just get Netflix. If we can't afford a $118,000 CD, maybe we need a $6,500 or $1,000 ED, like every other district in the state. I think we need to look at the budget, what we're spending and what we're not bringing in these months. I have heard, I work in a medical facility, and I have heard so many people say, my insurance company is still paying and the MAC is closed. My insurance company is still paying, but the MAC is closed. Why are they still taking my monthly fees out of my, I don't know, go to the meeting, go to the meeting, go to the meeting. I guarantee you, come November, you're gonna take property taxes, I promise.
Thank you, Michelle. Next is Kathy Carey.
Good evening. The first thing I want to say is the board, my 5 board members here and Courtney and the rest of the employees here at the MACRD have my complete faith and support. I feel deep within my soul that you are doing the right thing for our facility and for our community, and I appreciate everything you do. For the sports being, first of all, everything we do, everything we have within our society requires maintenance. Our relationships require maintenance. Our schools do not make money, but they require maintenance. Our health facilities require maintenance. Our government requires maintenance. Our roads require maintenance. Just think about paying for a road, paying for 97 to go in, having no maintenance, and how long would it be before that road was impassable? We need money to maintain not only the pool, but our youth sports programs. We have cut, by voting no, we have cut our budget down to bare bones is a stretch. We need money to maintain. I am all for recreation sports. My kids were involved. I think that it's vital to have, especially in a community that doesn't have a lot of resources, and we need to have that. However, I completely understand that you can't have something for nothing, and we have to have the money in order to pay for that. As to Jean, I just want to say, I appreciate your comment about having this taped for class. And I think that would be a great option as a substitute. So we don't have to cancel classes if the instructor is not able to instruct on a day. However, because we have a lot of people in our exercise classes who are actively involved with their rehabilitation, they need to have modifications, and these modifications have to be tailored by an individual for the person exercising. We as patrons need to be reminded of a proper form and a proper way in order to do the exercises so that we do not injure ourselves or someone else. I love the idea of Tuesday through Saturday. I love the idea of Wednesday through Sunday. I would love to have Monday through Sunday, but I like the schedules you presented. Thank you for your time.
There's a couple others that were different.
And then Brandy also requested on that.
Yeah, so I have 3 more on here. So is there a Brooke Simmons?
Oh, I'm not speaking. I signed the wrong form. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, and then I had Cora.
Sure.
Oh, you know me, yeah.
No worries.
So my name is Cora Holman, and after watching your last meeting, I traced the confusion around the wage scale back to the meeting in March where it was first approved. I'm here tonight with the result of a public record request for the full communication behind the HR Answers wage analysis. What you weren't told back in March and are now seeing for the first time, at least in a public meeting, is that there was an original wage scale that came back with the executive director's current salary falling well within the top of the range. This was never shown to you because it was rejected by the ED alone without consulting the board. And instead, she directed HR Answers to return the focus, to rerun the search with the focus of private sector language of CEO, which then produced the salary scale that you were given in your meeting that was to say that she was severely underpaid. After that, with this communication, she sat in a public meeting and claimed to have recused herself completely from the process, saying that Deanna took the lead because it was a conflict of interest and that she didn't really know how the data was compiled, even unable to answer some of your questions. Even though, as you can see through this email, she knew that the original report was taken directly from the duties on her own job description. She concealed this report, controlled the narrative, and misled the board and the public. After dismissing this scale as too expensive, the ED sought comparisons to local city and county government positions. The board, instead of discussing the merit of that comparison of how the city and county might be operating more staff or assets or responsibility, they took that as an opportunity to focus their conversation on scrutinizing the public and asking why we don't uproar about the county wages that are posted, only about the MACRD wages. So this attitude led the board right into adopting a wage scale that was designed to justify a raise to $65 an hour at a time where there are no services being offered. And while that raise did not happen, which we're grateful for, the board did have to reverse budget cuts that they made during budget season as a result of this manipulation. This was a deliberate misrepresentation, and it's a pattern that we see in these records. And it's also paired with deflection and blame on the public. And it's more than a one-time lapse of judgment. The executive director knowingly misled the board and the public, attempting to secure her own financial gain. That alone warrants her release with cause and without severance. And for the record, the board members who side with that attitude in meeting after meeting, I believe you should step down as well. And I think the 3 of you know who you are. Thank you.
Trudy?
Trudy Haugen, and I guess. What I would like to talk with you about is the executive director compensation. This is a form that the board of directors received some months ago. You will hear board members referencing how much the executive director, how she makes less than the past two and less than executive director has made in the past 10 years. So my first question to you, first off, I was not able to tie for months. I have not been able to tie any of these numbers with budgets, audits, any P&Ls I could find. A records release was put in. How many times have people asked about 2018-19, where it has $169,250? Are you aware what is in those numbers in 2018-19 as board members? Are you aware? So in the title, it says salary, health benefits, opt-out, and retirement. Through a records release, by the way, your QuickBooks cannot be opened from 2018-19. You have an old QuickBooks company that a new chart of accounts was created. There is not a password to open that QuickBooks. So no profit and losses can be provided to prove this form. By looking at this form, you know it's not actual. But how about the fact that in 18 and 19, when that large salary is, moving expenses of $2,000 is listed in there. A consultant of $50,000. Prior director termination of $30,000. Payroll taxes of $9,000. Retirement, $4,000. So I don't know. Did you know that $80,000 of this $169,250 that you have been talking to the community and not always so nicely about how much was made that year? And again, when you go to 2021, exact same thing. The actual Edie salary was $60,000. You've got $49,000 in consultants. You've got payroll taxes of $22,600 that was added into that one. Yeah, and so I will provide this for you. I mean, I don't know. The first thing that needs to happen is that form. This needs to be taken out of your records. It's not actual, it's not truthful, and board members probably need to start saying some apologies, because a lot of about it.
I think we have one more person online. Brandy McNamee is present.
Hello. Can you hear me, Janelle?
Yes.
Okay, can we pull up page 9 of your business meeting packet? Because I know I can't speak on number 8, but if we can pull it up.
Can you tell us what that is? Because
It's not the balance sheet, it's the income statement. Go to the next page. Keep going. Here, I'm trying. Okay, right here. Okay. So my name is Brandy McNamee. I'm from Antelope, but I do want to emphasize I am a taxpayer of the MAC. I am within the district, and I've served on the budget committee for many years. When you're looking at your budget to actual, I understand this is the draft year-end financial statements, but when I looked at this, when the packet came out, I'll be honest, I was really disappointed. And the reason I'm going to bring this up is sitting in budget committees meetings, we always look at this is what it's going to cost us. And we realize the cost, but then generally the last 2 years, we've always plugged the revenue into grants or into revenue sources that just to make the budget balance. Well, looking at this budget, if we start going by each budget category, you look at property taxes, you only brought in 733,000, but budgeted was 758. If you continue to scroll down the page, if you can move it, you missed the mark on every revenue budget category for the entire year. Do you see how MAC memberships fell short? Facility revenues fell short. The aquatics program fell short, and keep going down the list. You'll get to the revenue for the grants, and that significantly fell short. Well, if you look at Oregon budget law, it specifically addresses like a budget committee should not be approving a budget unless the revenue sources are reasonably estimated and reasonably going to come in. And I know this was brought up whether or not we should budget for grants, but it's like grants are not guaranteed. You guys are, I bet the word grant has been mentioned 20 times in the meeting already tonight, and it's not a guarantee. And one thing I'd like to see in your fiscal policies that are before you is perhaps changing your methods of don't count for money that's not guaranteed to come in. There's nothing saying you can't do a budget resolution when you get that grant. A lot of public entities budget that way. They don't plug the revenue in until the money's actually there and available. So if you continue to scroll down, I mean, you're at a budget deficit this year, but look at your revenue. You fell significantly short on your revenue, but if you scroll down, you continued to spend the money. So was there a budget resolution passed at the June 18th meeting? Because I didn't actually see one in your budget packet. Is anyone going to respond? I can't hear.
No.
Because not usually, like if you look at the county or you look at the city, usually the finance director always brings in a budget resolution at the last meeting in June of every year end, because that's the one last time you can do a budget resolution to fix your budget. So that way you're not in violation of Oregon budget law. Because if you scroll down right now, yeah, you haven't had your audit yet, but clearly you're past the deadline and you're at a deficit budget.
Yes.
Keep going. It's like a $72,000 hit. Right there. So you overexpended your appropriations, hypothetically, in relation to the revenue sources because you didn't have enough revenue to cover. That's the whole point of balanced budgeting. You shouldn't have like a 24,000 there. That even seems off because the budget should.
Thank you, Brandy.
Okay, I'm just saying, please, I think somebody made a mention at a meeting, it was either June 4th or June 18th, but somebody said, you can't head to Portland on an empty tank of gas. I don't recall who said that, but that stuck with me because you are spending more than what you have coming in, and it's not sustainable. As a taxpayer, I just really want to see conservative budgeting. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. That's all I have.
Means I didn't take my whole 3 minutes, can I have just one thing I forgot to say? That's 30 seconds. If you're gonna go to the budget, if you're gonna go to another vote, why not ask for a little bit less than the whole $1.19 per thousand on a fixed income? And as a senior, I can't keep taking hits on property taxes. But, if you'd met halfway, if you'd gotten 85 cents or 90 cents, would we be in this problem?
all I have to say.
All right, thank you all. We're at the financial report section of the meeting. Our audit is coming up. I already got contacted by Dawn.
We're doing the interim work now.
So the audit is our other big thing.
So for the financial report, board members, you'll recall that back in the spring, we talked about that we had a deficit budget last year and we were probably going to have one this year. And as Brandy pointed out, that is the situation that we are in. If you go back to the balance sheet, you can see that, you know, a lot of things happened last year that I would say came out of left field and made a balanced budget challenging for a district that was already kind of on the edge of not being financially sustainable. As of June 30th, we've got about $225,000 of cash on hand for operating through the month of October, for when property taxes come in November. We do have $14,000 in the debt fund because of payments that were made in June. And so that does get used toward that loan principal. Remember that the general fund loaned $40,000 to the debt service fund to make the final bond payment because of the tax adjustment that happened after the LB 50 had already been turned in for the fiscal year. So we couldn't fix that. And so that, coupled with a second utility roll correction that happened just in April, May, left us with a $40,000 hole for making our final bond payment. So the general fund loaned money, and we submitted our LB 50 to repay that loan back to the general fund. Our current assets, you can see, are down about $130,000 from the prior year. Most of that is because of that huge tax correction that happened and didn't come in as revenue. For liabilities, you can see that year over year payroll's down almost 44% as of June 30. We do have our tax anticipation loan listed on the balance sheet as a liability as the auditor directed. We don't count that as revenue. We just count it as a liability on the balance sheet, and then we only budget to pay the interest because those funds just come off as a liability when the county gets that payment back. So for this fiscal year, our equity is negative $43,470. The bulk of that is the loan that we made from the general fund to the debt service fund. When you look at that profit and loss statement, you know, there are a number of notes, and I tried to color code it to make it easy to see. Our property taxes came in so much lower, and you'll recall that originally I think we had budgeted $850,000, and we did a budget adjustment in August because of that huge utility roll correction. Because of how that utility roll correction had to be repaid, and then the additional roll correction in April, May, we missed the mark on our revenue projections. And it's just something that all of us districts that are funded with taxes are dealing with this. I've talked with the library and the fire department and the county as well. And we thought maybe collections were lower. But Gabriel Solis let us know that it wasn't because of collections. It was because of this utility roll adjustment that hit all of us so hard this year. As you go down, our total income for the year is about $1.1 million. And then our expenditures, we were at about 98% of budget for personnel. We had some expenses that weren't originally budgeted that were part of grants that we received for replacing the backstroke flags, our mobile scoreboards and basketball flag, which wasn't anticipated in the budget. Cost a little bit more, but it was a really good experience, I think, for our spring flag football participants. We paid more in rec fees than we anticipated to the school district for using flag and soccer, for fall, having them on their flag and soccer fields instead of over at Juniper Hills Park, because we ceded that property to the soccer program that was doing some other programming in the fall. And then for adult basketball and pickleball, that happened throughout this winter and spring. We had a number of unanticipated repairs, which really put our repairs and maintenance budget 137% over. The lap pool UV had to be repaired, lap and spa sensors, and then we got a grant to refurbish our blocks because we were hosting districts this year. Let's see. We had some unanticipated repairs and capital outlay. You'll recall we originally budgeted to replace the domestic boiler this last fiscal year, but instead we had to fix our boiler number 1 to the pool. And then we bought 2 fire water safe file cabinets for our permanent records because they were in boxes and they need to be protected as permanent files. So that's, as Brandy noted, that led us to a negative net income of $72,000. And I think that as you look at the cash flow challenges that we were going to have staying open this summer, yes, the summer is a high revenue time, but it's also our highest expenses time. And I think that because of that $40,000 loan that had to be made, that was part of the impetus for not being open during the summer. With the debt services fund, you'll note that I added just a paragraph about how the final bond payment was due. We had those roll corrections, and that the net income shows as $19,558, which gets taken out of that loan, so that we calculate the interest on the actual money that is paid back. And then in our maintenance reserve fund, we have $11,000, which is consistent with the budget. That's my financial report. Jean, did you have anything from reviewing the financials?
I had a couple of questions. I probably have asked you before. Ask you again. Cheat sheet in on the bottom. There it is. On the credit card charges, who is Owl Labs? OWL, like who L? $35.99. Oh, that, okay.
That's our Owl.
And Blue Mountain Network, is that our?
That's our internet and
provider?
phones.
Is that our monthly?
Mm-hmm.
$340.77.
We're working with Hubby to look at if there are alternative options.
Yes. Yeah, that Owl Labs checked out. I just didn't know what that was. Oh my gosh.
All right. Anything from anyone else? All right. And then we need to consider approval of the consent agenda, which includes the work session and business meeting minutes from June 18th. They're in your packet.
Will we approve the consent agenda?
Need a second, right?
Yeah. All on favor?
Bye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so the consent agenda is approved. The next item of business is in regards to engagement with local government law group for legal services. So that's gonna be under the jurisdiction of Kirby moving forward as our board chair. So you'll be working with Courtney as we find an agreement with a local law group to address the certified letter we received And then we'll be needing an executive session related to that, but this would be the rest of the board authorizing you to sign an agreement with, for legal services until we can secure a more permanent legal firm for the district on an ongoing basis, which won't be until October. So someone would just need to move to approve to give Irby as our new board chair.
I'll make the motion that we authorize the board chair to sign an engagement letter with the local government law group for legal services at this time.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing no one, just a reminder that is required, so our SDAO attorney, through special districts does require us to have our own legal services locally. They don't handle most of those things. And then the next one is approving the fiscal year 2025-26 for the director's meeting schedule.
I'll make the motion that we approve the going to the Monday schedule as it was provided.
Second.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Hearing none, the meeting schedule for this next fiscal year is approved. The next one is consideration of approval of resolution 2026-01 establishing the annual procedures of the MACRD district.
Well, on that one, did everybody want to take the time to read that thoroughly? Yeah, at home address it.
Yes.
Is it separate than the financial policy?
This is the resolution designating our official.
Oh, I thought that was the financial one.
It's separate.
People in positions and organizations that we use for specific services.
So we don't have an attorney of record currently.
Well, we'll write in
the temporary one.
the local government law group.
And then I'll just need to be addended when we hire permanent legal authority in the fall.
Yep.
Do you know how many, Courtney, scroll back? The auditor, Sensible, we used to use those at the county. How many years has the MAC used them?
I think 5. I think this is either our 5th or 6th, and the board will recall every year I've said we need to do this and we don't have time to do it. And then SEAO came out and said, don't switch auditors because there's not enough auditors and there's special districts that can't find them. And so last spring, the board said, let's just stick with them until we have a chance to go back out. They do have protocols in place so that they don't use the same primary. They rotate primaries to make sure that other people are getting eyes on it so that we don't form relationships or, so it's still an audit that's non-biased.
This year's John is different.
Yeah, Brenda was the primary and then Kristen and then this year it's John. So they rotate so it doesn't get.
What month would we look at going out for RFPs for that?
We would probably want to do it this fall.
This fall?
Yeah.
I'll start that on the agenda. Yeah. Is there any criteria that you know of that the county would fall under every so many years that would ask for a different audit group? Is there anything set that says we should do it X number of years?
Best practice is between 3 and 5.
Between 3 and 5.
Yeah. And that's why the last 3, every time I come to you and say, I know we need to do this and I don't have time. So, but we can put it on the docket for this fall.
Any further questions about that?
Does that need a motion approval?
It's a resolution. That we're like approving those.
That's what we're doing anyway, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Move to, accept the resolution 2026
On, second,
I'll second.
anyone opposed to approving resolution 2026-01 or abstaining? No, okay. All right, that's approved. And then the executive director report.
I do not have a report this month, given the timing and the 160-page board packet.
All right. Any other specific questions for Courtney regarding any of the discussion during the meeting?
Actually, I can address a couple things that, if I could take a moment.
Yeah.
So on the question of whether or not the MAC is charging third-party insurance providers while we're closed, the answer is no. We did bill in July for the first 2 weeks of June and have not billed anyone since that time. We have an ActiveNet system that has a membership on it. So when folks come in and scan their card, that's the report we run on what to bill. Since no one's been scanning their card, we haven't been billing anybody. That ActiveNet membership, though, everyone gets an email that it's been renewed in the system. And so we had made a decision as a team not to deactivate those because it takes quite a bit of work for staff to do that. But we did go ahead this month and do that because we got a lot of questions about why it would have been renewed. So now we've gone in and set it to turn back on at the end of September. So nobody's insurance companies have been billed for anything other than the first 2 weeks of June. Something else. We did have, to Phil Johnson's question about people that were signed up and didn't pay for certain months. Yes, we had we found a glitch in the system and we were able to fix it. And so that happened. We had that happen in the fall, I believe, and we were able to go back and talk to those folks. And now we have a reporting process that we put in place to make sure we catch those if that happens. Those are the ones that I noted to follow up on. Issue. The other one. Oh, so the school district intergovernmental agreement that's been in place for, I don't know. I mean, has it been in place since you've been on the board? It's been there for a while.
Prior to me coming on the board.
So more than
It's been
10
in place
years.
for longer than.
Is that the school district pays for second grade swim lessons, $60 a lesson. And they also pay the facility rental fee for the swim team. So the total deposit they put down is $30,000. And then every month we go in and reconcile the actual activity to that. And the IGA also includes coverage for drop-ins for life skills students and athlete memberships for the swim team or other athletic groups that their coaches think that they should have memberships to the pool. And so they're paying a fee for service. And it's about $30,000. Last year it was more than that because we hosted 3 home swim meets and districts. So I think they paid closer to $67,000 or something last year. So yes, they are paying for those services.
Does that cover the expenses?
Yes, that covers that meets our cost recovery policy. So there's a certain percentage it covers for swim lessons and it's 100% cost for the facility use for the swim team.
So it meets the policy, but
it meets the policy
that
for
means
cost
that
recovery.
we could not meet the expenses possibly.
I would say for swim lessons, we subsidize by about 20% because it's the reason the pool was built. So all swim lessons get subsidized 20% through property taxes, subsidizing our grants or other things that we're able to fund.
Okay. And then on our next agenda, I think we just need follow up on the email response documentation from that grant from the valley.
Oh, for the
Regarding
clean air.
Clean air, please.
Yeah, I can add that.
Okay. That in there. And then just any comments like about I guess the other thing about our taxing district is that it's already set, it's what was voted on back when there was formation of the district, so that's not something that could be changed without going back on the ballot and including other areas or even areas of taxpayers that are currently on there. And we haven't had any discussions in the 10 years I've been on here about extending our district or adding other tax paying areas into this district. Early on, there were like historical discussions.
About changing the boundaries.
Yeah, about changing the boundary, because that was another comment, but. All right.
It's still just the 509J boundary.
It's the 509J boundary, and that is what was voted on with the formation of the district. It would have to go on the ballot as its own thing to address that boundary. Otherwise, we can't change who pays taxes in this district. Or is included in district.
Phil,
I know,
he was talking about the land that's not taxable. Within almost every taxing district, you're gonna find pieces of land that belongs to the feds or the state that's not taxable. Yeah.
Are there any board member reports or highlights from the last month?
From the last month, how about current? It's fair week. I'm fair, everybody. Kids have been bringing animals in. They've been entering exhibits today, and it's gonna be a good week.
It's gonna be good.
I convinced my child to join swim team.
Oh,
He's
really?
been practicing 3 days a week and getting worn out, and he wants to compete.
Doesn't involve this district, but my youngest daughter's the head coach at Battleground Swim Team at the high school.
What was yours?
Mine, real quick, I just want to say that. So to address everybody here, what I'd like to say is thank you for coming, whether you're on this side or that side. The thing that we're looking at is we want to keep our pool. We want to save our pool. So there's 2 different ways to go about it. So that's why we have to work together. So I want to say thank you. And if we can keep working together, I think we can do it. So thank you guys for coming.
You gotta open
I
it.
truly appreciate it. So we do. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta start listening to the people who fund this thing.
Stop running like a private park.
Absolutely.
Open the doors, bring in money.
And we are trying.
Irving, turn your tables around, so your backs aren't to the public.
Oh.
I think that's important.
Well, typically it's not laid out like this, but typically we don't have this many people.
I know.
It's kind of a small room.
And you can see
Maybe we
here.
can go across this one.
I think so.
Next time. Yeah. So thank you again.
All right.
I appreciate you guys.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
We'll adjourn
I don't know.
8:31. Resign.
Driver interviewer.
I wanted
That's what I think.